Well, good morning, folks. Welcome back. This is Garage Alchemy. I'm Poke Kale, and I'm also Wazza, Warren, and a few other things as well. This is just where we play around with AI stuff and learn stuff, I guess. I'm not going to get too fancy with all the openings every day. Like, you're going to either come and join us or you're going to sit there and watch silly videos all day and then flick through YouTube channels. I'm not about that. I'm a guy that's sort of sitting here. I'm retired in Thailand. I don't have to do any of this shit at all. I'm one of those guys that just loves playing computers, computer games, and I did all the hard work. I got to put my feet up. 10 years after I put my feet up, and I just realized, hold on, the game has changed. It's time to get back into it because this is really interesting. Anyway, where we left off at the main building process from our little episodes, we were building our little knowledge vault, big knowledge vault. Don't know how you like to look at that. It is a knowledge vault of some sort, but ultimately it's a way to collect all this information that you interact with over the course of your computer interactions. I mean, everywhere. I use the Obsidian web scraper. I think that's what they call it, a web scraper. So everything that I do now on the internet gets scraped and gets thrown in the knowledge vault. That's working quite well, but where we left it, we were making an MCP. We did the MCP. Then I noticed the fact that there were a lot of bugs and everything just not really working. So I probably spent maybe 2 days reinventing the wheel, recompiling things, redoing the database, relooking at the different vectors, and we recompiled everything. That's been done behind the scenes, but the knowledge vault is still there. It's just got a better shape now. And I think a little bit more robust in its overall construction. I haven't even really sort of done much on that code. I've just sort of said, just do it again, update the Codex, update the GitHub, and anybody else watching can read that as well, because I can't be bothered with it anymore because it seems like it writes a lot of spaghetti code. Anyway, moving right along, what have we got? So we've got a little bit more automation going on here. So let's click over here to have a look at the automation sort of side of things. Yes, I do have my email scanning process happening on a daily basis now, or actually twice a day. Got that happening. I do run a daily signal briefing, which gives me a little bit of a heads up on what's going on at the moment. And of course, with my overlay and voice thing, I can do that
The
everywhere.
AI industry is entering an engineering phase. Models are still improving, but the real competition is shifting toward ecosystems that combine capable agents, dependable infrastructure, strong governance, and smooth workflows. That's where the durable advantages are beginning to emerge.
So I'm getting an update every day. Also, I got my YouTube channels every week that I watch that keep me in the loop of that stuff. And I've moved on to other things. One of the things that I was challenged with with the way I'm filing everything here, I do have a process now that cleans up my download folder, files everything, and files stuff, videos and the videos, images and images. Here we have the image folder, and what we sort of see here in images is, lots and lots of images. I needed some way to deal with this images, especially when you got images like this, and it tells you nothing when you're scanning through a directory. I needed something better than that. So we went on from there to build something to actually rename these things. We are currently at the moment processing, there we go, we're up to 95. We'll get to that in a minute. This is actually running the actual code. So let's go back over, have a look at where that is. This is image sorting and renames. This is where we currently are. This is, again, probably maybe on my Plus account. I think we started this last night and we had 53%. So this whole exercise with all its corrections has burnt through 11% of my usage. And that's really the key I'm trying to get at here. I'm still trying to learn how much it does burn through to do simple tasks. So build a safe local image filing system, target, there I got to tell it where it's going to, requirements. And again, this prompt was written over here. If I look under there, look under here, what have you built lately? I built it over here somewhere. This is a problem. So I'm still filing stuff. Maybe I've already filed it and already ingested it into the knowledge vault. But yeah, this is why we need sort of the whole thing unified into one process. I'm still writing vibes over there because they haven't put plugins into the browser session and into the Codex over here. So I'm still limited to using it over there to do all this work, because its workflow is so much easier. You're working between different windows, and enough of my little whinging and complaining. I'm sure we'll get around it. We'll all have our own unique workflow. Anyway, so I gave it a basic idea of what I want to do. I just basically want files that have this really weird camera name. Let's look at the photo and find out what works. So we did some suggestions we did some research and looked at what model. The QEM 2.5 version 17B model is specifically, tailored for image recognition. So that's the model we're doing locally. And again, I suppose I should also emphasize, why am I doing this writing code when I could probably get that's all in my Google Drive? I could just say, just do it, go and clean it up. Well, the point is the fact that then you're burning cloud tokens. Well, I've got an engine here. I might as well do all the grunt work on my own machine. That's what grunt work's about. As you said, if I go back over here, that's probably paused at that. So it's now sort of seen a response on that one. Found 100. It's filed 98. One is undecided and one skipped. Not quite sure why that was skipped. It's probably because of the fact that I got Google Drive running in the background. It might have held it up at the time. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to reprocess that. It knows exactly what it's done. It's already filed them. It's already categorized them. And it's just going to go through and just reprocess that whole thing again. And as you see, they're now being moved into that directory. This is like, I could do a one shot, but I'm still testing things. All I want to do is point the fact that, this is how many tokens it took and how long it takes to process. Anyway, so we built a PowerShell file, script, and we started a README file about what we're doing. So we started with the ingest, which was, invoking it and applying it. I sort of noticed that, I ran a sample of 10. I said I wanted more output so we could see what's going on. So we then modified that. And what else with the image locations? That's right. I noticed the fact there was a lot skipped, so we had to rewrite the code again to be a bit more analytical about what was going on. I don't exactly know something was holding the files, but I think it was actually a process in the background. Every time it ran this process, the process wasn't closing, and somehow that was locking the whole file handling up. So that was in the Codex mechanism itself. It took us a while to get through that. So half the tokens we did burnt on this was probably correcting and trying to fault trace what Codex had done wrong, which is again what I have the biggest issue about this token-based economy, is the fact that, well, I don't mind paying for tokens if you do the fucking job right. I don't want to have to sit here and just say, well, I gave you a pretty clear instruction what I want, and somehow it's not working, and you made a mistake. Now I'm paying for you to go and have to fix that shit. That's my biggest concern. Look, there might be nickel and dimes to some people, but for somebody on a retirement income, it makes a big point. I've got a limit. I've got $20 a month. I got $5 a week. I got $5 of processing a week. Thankfully, they've been giving me a few extra tokens every few days, which is helping. Keeps me sort of busy. I can always go watch movies. I got plenty of other things I can be doing, but this is interesting. So anyway, cut a long story short, we did 3 or 4 different revisions, and now we've got it into a point where it actually runs fairly successfully. And that was probably about 3 hours work, I'd say. 3 hours all up to do all that last night. It has been pushed to a GitHub repository. I think we've dropped a few notes along that as well, so you can probably look into that if you wanted to have a look at what I did and look at the code. I've got no ownership rights. Look, a computer's writing the code. It's not my code. You can have it as well. Anyway, the whole process is running. It does tell me what they are. Hospital visit, Thailand, getting Thai ID card. Yeah, it seems to be classified. Well, of course, it's probably reading the text on those ones. There are some harder ones, but again, I got 2,000. Do you think I'm going to sit there and rename these files all myself? And then, of course, all I'm going to do there is going to take them and put them in the repository. And then at some stage, if I'm happy with the process, we'll probably doing it batches of 1,000 at a time and pull them out of the, maybe point us directly at the Synology and just say, the done folder's over there now. Go and do it over there. A number of different opportunities. So we'll see how we go. Anyway, enough of that. I suppose we'll get back into the chatting to our audience and closing this stuff out. As I said, I'm not a code writer. I was once upon a time. I wrote Fortran, COBOL, assembly, QBasic. I think I left the code writing industry in 97, 98. I think that was Visual Basic was my last programming language, and I really can't be bothered with this shit. That's when I started paying people to write code, okay? Now I'm retired. Well, now I'm saving myself money to write code. That's the way it works. Anyway, I need a coffee. You know what to do. Coffee time. Hit me with a coffee. I'm going to say thank you for my membership. That's the only reason why I do this, to keep you guys entertained. And we do have our Discord channel. You can come inside, jump in. That's the whole idea. We are in the garage. Come to the garage, see what we're doing. Come and show us what you're doing. You know, we might even make a video. We'll get you out there as well. You know, we'll get you doing YouTube shit. Okay? Peace out. Have fun.